A mob of blacks beat a white man nearly to death. Is this a hate crime? This is violent dumb news. All right, folks, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. You're tuned in to Tim's Take Live. I got a story I got to do right now. See, I didn't know about this story that happened last week, last Wednesday. That's almost a fucking week from me knowing about this story. It's about a man by the name of Steve Utash. Steve Utash lives in Michigan. He was driving his truck. Now, he has a pickup truck. He's a tree trimmer. And he's traveling along the road in East Detroit. Yeah, East Detroit. Now, Steve Utash is a white guy. And East Detroit is violent as fuck. It's violent as fuck for everybody. Not just white guys, black guys too. I mean, we do most of the dying in East Detroit. Don't go to East Detroit, is what the sign should say. You in East Detroit? Run, motherfucker. But Mr. Utash goes to this area all the time. See, he travels this road every day for the last decade. That's what his son says. Now, on this day, Mr. Utash was driving down the street, and these kids are playing on the edge of the street. And you can barely see it in this video footage here. They like playing in the street or whatever. I'm going to try to link you to a better video, but for right now, that's all we got. Well, that's all the information we have is from this faraway CCTV, the cameras from a gas station that's up a block away or so. Okay? And they can see these kids, okay? So what happened is one of the kids that was playing was a 10-year-old who kind of stuck his leg out and was playing chicken or something. I don't know what to believe on this story. But I do know Mr. Utash was not drinking and that he did not hit this child intentionally. That's what we do know. What we also know is at the time of the accident, Deborah Hughes came by. She saw it, she went to the scene, and she went to tend to the boy. Now, Miss Hughes is a nurse, a retired nurse. So she went to tend to the boy to see if the boy was okay. Miss Hughes says she noticed that Mr. Utash stopped his truck and got out his truck. He was walking to find out what happened with the boy, and he asked her, is he okay? Did I do that? Is he okay? Because Mr. Utash appears to be a decent man. What happened after that is fucking despicable. A mob forms, and they begin to beat Mr. Utash. Now, the boy that was hit, he wasn't really seriously hurt. In fact, he only had like a leg injury. He home now. He's fine. He's healing, he's hurt, but he's fine, okay? His injuries did not appear to be life-threatening. They weren't because he's home at this point. But Mr. Utash, oh, these fucking thugs, according to Miss Hughes, a mob formed, and a number of people beat on Mr. Utash, kicking him and stomping him repeatedly, to the point she had to get in the middle of them and tell them to get off of this man. Leave him alone. She saved Mr. Utash's life. It's a despicable situation, but let me finish. Now, Mr. Utash, the paramedics arrived. Miss Hughes stayed with Mr. Utash till they came. He is now in a coma, and they keep having to put him in a coma because there's blood on his brain. And they're afraid that Mr. Utash might injure himself because when he wakes up, he starts frailing because he thinks he's still on that street corner getting kicked by those fucking thugs. Assholes, thugs, whatever. I'm not saying that because they're black. I'm saying that because they're fucking thugs. And that's what they are. They beat a defenseless man who went back to check on a child that he accidentally hit who was probably playing in the street to begin with. Almost beat him to death. Now, I got it. Now that's the facts of what we know. 4 people have been charged so far, arraigned, okay? A 27-year-old, no, a 30-year-old, a 24-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 16-year-old. 4 people have been caught. We think the number could be as many as 9 of the people who actually put hands on Mr. Utash. Okay? Those are facts. Now, this is my real commentary. I don't like the way this coverage is going so far. It's been almost a week and people aren't talking about this story. Once again, I just found out about this story. I should have known about this story. If I did not make it my business to look at all entities, you know, MSNBC, Fox, CNN, everybody, HLN, RT, TYT, BYB, whatever. I look at everyone's news to find stories that I want to bring you. And if I didn't do that, I'd never know about this story. Why? Because I searched for it on MSNBC, and guess what? You can't find it. Why can't you find it, you fuckheads? Why isn't this story on your fucking website? Something wrong with my search algorithm? Or could it be that this is not a good talking point for the liberal folks? Doesn't kind of fit, because you can't demonize, I don't know, white people, or you can't demonize the GOP, or you can't demonize conservatives with this story. I'd like an explanation. CNN had the story. I'll give them that. CNN had the story. Now, Fox had the story a little too much. They had the story like I saw like 8 or 9 different articles on this one story. See, MSNBC is not covering it because they don't want to make certain people look bad. They don't want to feed into that stereotype. And then Fox is featuring it, but they're featuring it too much because they want to feed into the stereotype. They want to be divisive. So it's the same thing. They're both doing the same shit, just on opposite sides of the spectrum. CNN trying to play it down the middle. Kinda. That's the problem. See, I'm doing this story because I don't fear being hated on, getting bashed, people calling me names, whatever the hell. So black people, some black people see this story, they're going to call me a sellout. They're going to call me Uncle Tom because why are you defending that white man? And then there's going to be white people, why do you call it a hate crime? I don't know if it's a hate crime. All I know is a man is hurt. Okay? That's what I know. I think east side of Detroit, anybody can get their ass kicked. Ask all the dead black people that died there last year and this year. Ask them. Did they get killed because they were black? That's why I got a problem with the whole hate crime thing. See, anybody who kills you, who tries to hurt you, hates you usually. I don't know if they were yelling, "You cracker," when they kicked them. I don't know. But I think if I was there in Detroit, me being from here, D.C., Maryland, okay? If I went to Detroit and ran over somebody they knew would hit them, they want to beat my ass. I wouldn't get out that car and give them the pleasure of it, though, unless I was toting. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real with you. What the news entities are not doing. They're not telling you that. Okay, so look. I think if you're going to cover this story, you should cover it the full extent of it, which is Miss Hughes is a hero. She put herself in harm's way to help Mr. Utash. But she says she had her gun on her purse. That's why she felt confident doing it. She said if she had to shoot somebody, hey, let it happen. You're not going to kill this man here. So Fox kind of played that down. They put that at the very end of the story. I saw them on their coverage of this issue. And I don't appreciate that because that should be right up front. The other thing is, this grainy footage that they have here for the story, that didn't help them find these guys who jumped Mr. Utash. It was the citizens in that neighborhood, as bad as that neighborhood is. Those citizens turned those kids in, and some of those kids turned themselves in. No one's talking about that either. Those cops aren't doing no roundup job, a great job of police work. No, citizens told or those parents found out and made those kids turn themselves in. Do you understand? So we need to, you know what? There's too much racial division going on behind stories like this. And the other thing, this is the thing I want to touch on before I leave you. It's the Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson thing. I keep reading everywhere I go. See, if it was a black victim, a white man did it, you'd see it everywhere. And there'd be Marshes and Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. Look, listen, man. Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton are not civil rights leaders. They are paid off assholes. I repeat. Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson are not civil rights leaders. They are paid off assholes. Jesse Jackson ain't been about shit in the last 20 years. Al Sharpton, I don't know if he ever was about anything. You understand what I'm saying? Please, MSNBC and those fuckheads, they choose them as their mouthpieces for black people. I don't choose them, and even as anybody I fucking know or would care to associate with. They're getting money. Just like Rush Limbaugh. Just like the people that you watch, the Glenn Becks. Fuckheads. Who are only going to focus on the poor man getting beat. Not going to focus on who saved his life. Not going to focus on why they're catching people. I think it's wrong that this man was beaten. I think it's a travesty, it's an injustice, and I hate people who take advantage of people who are defenseless. And that's exactly what they did here. For whatever reason. They operated outside the law, even if they thought this man intentionally hit this boy, which is obviously not the case. But as a friend of mine, a fan of mine, said on one of my comments, he said, I'm trying to get this right. His name is Zach. Claude Zach. And Claude Zach said this, the problem with any mob of people is that a mob is only as smart as its dumbest member. Exactly. I saw that Mr. Utash's son, he went on the program Fox and Friends. He was very upset, and I just want to say, young man, I'm sorry for the pain that you're going through. I feel very badly for your father. Not because he's white, but because he's a man. He's a father and a grandfather who did not deserve to be beaten for any fucking reason by anyone. You understand? So, folks, if you feel the same way I feel about Mr. Utash and you want to help this man because he needs it, he does not have medical coverage, go to his GoFundMe Now campaign. I'm going to link you to it in the description box. Help this man out. Even with limited press coverage, no national coverage, they've raised over $140,000 to help with his medical expenses. Mr. Utash has a long way to go, but his son says he's a fighter, so let's pull for him and let's help him out. Once again, Mr. Utash was not drunk. Mr. Utash was not driving erratically. Mr. Utash hit a child who was in the street, accidentally came back to see if that young man was okay, and was almost beat to death for it. No one should feel good about it. No one should overlook it. Everyone should cover it, and we all should tell it straight. I'm not a civil rights leader. I just keep it real, and I have fucking integrity, which is what we should expect from all people in our news media. I'm Tim Black. This is Tim's Take Live, TTL Media. Follow the link in the link description. Share this video if you can. Keep an open mind. But if this is a hate crime, sentence him for it. I'm not saying it's not a hate crime, but if it is a hate crime, punish him for it. Punish him anyway. Give him as much time as humanly possible for hurting this man. Thanks for watching.